The sun is shining, the air is crisp, and it is a new day in the city of Philadelphia. Today has a chance to be one of our best days ever in terms of sports, because we have new life with a powder blue-clad Phillies team fighting for yet another day in Los Angeles after a convincing Game 3 win. We have primetime football tonight. The Birds in the Meadowlands taking on those stinking freaking one-win Giants. And the puck drops on a new Flyers season tonight as well. Rick Tocchet making his coaching debut for Philly as the Flyers take on the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. It feels like a little mini opening day for Philly sports. I have a spring in my step. I'm flying pretty high. I mean, Bagels and Company brought in breakfast for us. It's been a great morning after a great night. I cannot wait for this triple header tonight, and I just have a feeling today is going to be a very good day. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to Philadelphia, live in the Xfinity Lounge. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the afternoon. Joining me, my producer and the host of the PHLY Phillies show, fresh off of a victorious Game 3 postgame, it is the one and only Tyler Zulli. What's up today, Tyler?
Yeah, they live to fight another day, and I think honestly, taking Game 1 is the big step number one, right? It's still an uphill battle, no question about it. They still have to win 2 more, 1 in LA, but you did it. You did what you needed to do to fight another day and stave off elimination, and you get to play another day. Now we have a really fun day ahead of us here, not just with the teams, but here at PHLY. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think they've rejuvenated a lot of fans after kind of lifeless performances for the first 17 innings. You know, you get a little bit of a run in the 9th in Game 2. You come out swinging in Game 3. Now you've got an opportunity to potentially take it back to Philly for a Game 5. There's a lot of life here that wasn't here yesterday right about this time.
And now that brings us to headlines, because we have 3 big ones. First and foremost, the Phils take Game 3. They live to fight again. Game 4 tonight back at Dodger Stadium. And Powder Blues forever, I guess. We have Chris Sanchez versus Tyler Glasnow. Another must-win to get this Game 5 back here in Philadelphia. And I am feeling very confident that last night was not just a one-game aberration, but the bats at the top of the order are alive. We'll talk about that more in a second. Eagles at Giants tonight as well. Sirianni is 7-2, including the playoffs against the Giants. He lost the first ever game of his tenure against them in 2021, and he's only lost once to them since. It was the final game of the disastrous second half of the 2023 regular season. The Eagles have owned the Giants really for most of this century, but since Sirianni took over, 7-2, looking for yet another big W tonight. And as I mentioned at the top, Flyers season opener, opening up on the road in Florida against the team that has won the last 2 Stanley Cups. Rick Tocchet makes his debut. Dan Vladar starting in net. It feels like a new day in orange and black. If you haven't checked out Operation Orange and Black right here on the PHLY YouTube, Anthony Gargano got to sit down with Dan Hilferty, with Rick Tocchet, Danny Briere, and Keith Jones for a roundtable discussion on the new season. Check that out. And while you're here, maybe pay attention to what we have going on at PHLY tonight, because I mentioned these 3 games. I mentioned these 3 things in the headlines. We have the ultimate PHLY watch-along tonight. Of course, We have Eagles Giants, we have Phil's Dodgers, the Flyers and Panthers. We will be doing pre and post game for that as well. Yeah, somehow we're the odd men out. Crazy, Eagles prime time, Phillies playoff, and then the Flyers they're going to be on StreamYard. Listen, I'm actually excited about it, but you got to tune in tonight. There's going to be watch-alongs. There's going to be pre- and post-game for all of these games. It is going to be an awesome evening here at PHLY, and you should be a part of it. So make sure you're following us right here. Follow us on the YouTube page. We cracked 50,000 followers. We're on our way to 100K. You could help us get there, and while you're here, hit the like button. I need the likes. They make me feel good about myself. So go ahead and do it for me. All right, let's hit our first topic today. It is, of course, Red October. Are we calling it Powder Blue and Burgundy October? Is that where we have to go with this now? Because it feels as if the Phils go on the road, they rock the Powder Blues, and suddenly look good, feel good, hit good. Everything is okay with the Philadelphia Phillies after a big win last night to extend the series. How you feeling? How you feeling, Tyler? Have you been rejuvenated with confidence? Are you still like, all right, yeah, now they got to win one more to put the pressure on the Dodgers? What's your vibe coming out of a must-needed victory last night?
Yeah, my vibe was, I think, for the first time since NLDS Game 5 in 2023, they had a plan. They had a plan at the plate, and they made Yoshinobu Yamamoto work. They made him get back into the zone. They made him attack them. They sat on a lot of good breaking balls, a lot of good splitters that they would have chased a couple of nights ago, or even as early as Game 1 or Game 2, right? And the chase rate was great. It was down to 22%. It's the lowest it's been against a starter in the last 2 postseasons for the Phillies. And the thing about that was, even when they did chase, they made good contact on those chase pitches. The splitter was not effective. The breaking ball was not effective because they sat on it early and they made him come back into the zone with the fastball, and then they took advantage. Kyle Schwarber kind of opens the lid off of the game. But I think between that and the fact that what you got from Ranger and Aaron Nola last night was really, really critical to take step one. Do I feel rejuvenated? Maybe not there just yet, but I do feel like taking Game 1 was probably the hardest task because of who you were facing, who you were starting, and the fact that there was not a whole lot of life heading into this game. Now there's a little bit of life. That pulse is there. It's faint, but it's there. And now you have an opportunity, and we talked about it, right? As Lloyd Christmas once said, so you're saying there's a chance? That's that type of game.
So you're saying there's a chance, and that's what playoff baseball is all about, especially these short series. You just have to give yourself a chance. I really want to I got to start with last night's starter, and it's Aaron Nola. I was not confident in that decision to give him the ball, especially you look at, 6 ERA on the season. Yes, he threw very well last time out against the Twins, but the Dodgers are not exactly the Twins, and it just hasn't gone great for Nola in the postseason in his career. It's been very up and down. Meanwhile, you have Ranger Suarez right there, who really good playoff numbers. The playoff numbers on the road are fan-freaking-tastic. But I got to give it to Topper. I absolutely have to give it to Topper with this decision to go with Aaron Nola, because it's something I didn't fully understand when it was announced. But much like the team had a plan at the plate, it looked like Topper came in and actually executed his plan. I know a lot of people last night were like, why don't you leave Nola? Nola's cruising. And if he gets through the first couple, that's where he's most susceptible. Let us not forget, though, the RAV fourth inning. I know the first inning's really been the problem this year, but it's the middle innings too. When sometimes he just unravels. But I really, really appreciated the plan last night, because it seemed as if it wasn't about, as we kind of thought yesterday, this means like you can only get like 3 out of Ranger. He's more hurt than we think. It was about having seen this Phillies bullpen, and the guys in the middle just haven't got the job done to start. So you know what? Let's kind of eliminate that part. Let's take the most important outs of the game, the 1st through the 7th, and put them on 2 guys who we have some confidence in. And I got to give it to Nola, and I got to give it to Topper for not trying to get greedy with Nola. I know all of a sudden Ranger comes in, gives up the home run, and it's like, what were we doing? How do you take him out? I always remember Noah Syndergaard in the World Series. It felt like they had a plan, and it was like, yeah, but he's gotten through it. It's like, let's see if we can get through another couple of outs. And then he gives up a home run, and it's a totally different game because they got a little greedy. Didn't get greedy with Nola last night. You got him through. He gets through 2 innings, and then here comes Ranger. And yeah, he gives up that home run, and you're like, well, so much for that idea. But after that, 5 innings, 72 pitches. He only gives up the one earned run, strikes out 4. He's got a 1.28 postseason ERA. And if that wasn't amazing enough, it's below half a run a game on the road. This dude, I was just saying, and now I'm going to do it, like before we started. I don't want to do, they got to re-sign Ranger stuff because we have like 6 months to do that. But man, this guy, I know he hasn't been the most durable in the regular season lately, and last night you're doing a piggyback, and we thought maybe it was health-related, but he just has ice in his veins like an ace. I want pitchers better than him in the rotation, Chris Sanchez, hopefully Wheeler, whatever, but like this guy performs in the toughest situations. But hats off to both Nola and Suarez last night. What did you think of the plan, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I think you put it pretty well. I think it was we were sitting here going, maybe before the home run. It was like, maybe you let him go another inning. He's pitched well. Let him face Tommy Edman. But the idea was to give Ranger a clean inning, and whether it was if Nola was able to get Edman or not to start the third, it really wouldn't have felt like a clean inning with the top of the order coming up. So instead, he goes to Ranger. It gives up the home run. But it's just an absolute dog performance by Ranger Suarez. I mean, talk about like ice water in your veins. It's a dude who just knows how to pitch. He pitches backwards. He throws strikes. He changes speeds. He used all 6 of his pitches yesterday, 4 of them, double-digit amount of times over the 72 pitches. So you really never know what's coming, especially when you get down in the count against Ranger Suarez. That's why when you see him and he goes like fastball 91 in the zone and they just stand there and watch it, you go, what are you looking at? But the reality is they're probably looking for, change up, down and away, or curveball to tumble through the zone. And instead you get the fastball elevated and you don't do anything with it. Ranger Suarez is a pitcher's pitcher, and he did it again last night. This guy has been absolutely lights out for the Phillies in the postseason, and it was another good performance from him last night.
All right, I want to talk about the lineup, the much maligned top 3 players in the order, maybe a little under the radar MVP if the Phillies are able to come back and force a Game 5 and move on to the NLCS. But first, we got to take our first break. Listen up, it's Bill Matz here to tell you about Ace Hardware Home Services, because if you've got cold air sneaking in, if heat isn't cranking quite like it should, don't worry, because Ace Hardware Home Services has got you covered. From heating repairs to water heaters, plumbing, and electrical, their trusted local pros bring the same helpful service you know from Ace right to your home. Whether it's a quick fix or a bigger winter project, they've got the tools, the know-how, and the people to get it done right. Ace Hardware Home Services, bringing helpful to your home. Visit acehardwarehomeservices.com today to get started on your next project.
All right, listen, we have a huge day ahead of us here at PHLY. And if you're torn between any of the games tonight, Xfinity members get the ultimate Philly special multi-view. You can catch the Phils Red October run. You can catch the Eagles and the Flyers season opener all at once on one screen. All of your favorite Philly teams all in one place. Finally made easy. Say multi-view into your Xfinity voice remote tonight to catch all of the action. It's one screen. It's every team. It's all of your Philly sports all in one place. Finally made easy with Xfinity Multi-View. Restrictions do apply. Multi-View requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. Get in on the Multi-View and don't miss a second of any of the Philadelphia sports games tonight.
All right, welcome back. It's time to talk about that absolute freaking tank Kyle Schwarber hit and what the rest of the top of the order did last night. First and foremost, a Schwarbomb is the surest way to bring life to this team. It just feels like they feed off of Kyle Schwarber. Like all the arguments about him hitting first, second, wherever at the top of the order. Do you want him further down? It just seems like, forget the analytics and all the reasons to actually do it. The vibe of when he connects early in a game is such that everybody else is looser, and that's exactly what happened. He put that ball on the effing moon last night, Tyler, and after that, it kind of just felt inevitable that everyone else was going to pick up the pace a little bit, and that's exactly what we saw as the game went on.
Yeah, I mean, you looked at a top three that through the first two games was 3 for 21. Last night they were 7 for 13. They all had at least a run scored. 2 of them had extra base hits. Schwarber had the 2 home runs. A lot of hard hit balls last night, not just from the top 3, but from the group as a whole. Those 3 guys, especially considering last night was really the first time we didn't see the bottom of the lineup have some productivity. It was really your star players playing like stars. And they did it last night with the 7 for 13. I mean, that's about as efficient as you possibly can get.
And I got to talk about Bryce, because I do think we kind of called that thing, Tyler, where he gets over to third. He runs really. It's one of these Harper situations where you take the good with the bad with Bryce, and he likes to be aggressive. He likes to think of himself as Chase Utley, but doesn't quite have that same brain to know when to do it and when to not. He just kind of goes and hopes for the best. But we got the best outcome early in the game last night. Then overthrow at third. Ball ends up in the dugout or in the seats, so he scores automatically on that. But I will say, Tyler, at the time, I thought, crap. This is just going to encourage him to do more dumb stuff. And listen, it didn't really matter. It was like 8-1 or whatever at the time. But when he tried to score late in the game and gets thrown out at home, there wasn't a question in my mind, 1, that he was going, and 2, that he was going to be out. And it was like, this is what you get. It paid off early, so there was absolutely nothing stopping him from trying again.
This is a team that has been aggressive on the base paths pretty much for the last couple of seasons now, and I think there's a reason behind it. Well, first and foremost, your leader is that ultra-aggressive guy, so maybe you play off of that a little bit. But I also think, too, right, you have good base runners at the top and bottom of your lineup. Trey Turner is an elite base runner when he's healthy. I don't know how healthy the hamstring is, but he is an elite base runner when he's healthy. Bryson Stott is an excellent base runner. JT Realmuto, for being a catcher especially, is an excellent base runner. Before the groin injury, Harrison Bader is another guy who could run the bases really well. They're ultra-aggressive, sometimes to a fault, and that's going to, you get really, really frustrated when the dumb stuff happens. But when it works, you go, no. Oh, all right, yep. And then, you force the throw from Pages, who has a really good arm in center field, but you force the throw from Pages, and it was awful. It's up the line and it ends up scooting into the dugout. So not only does Harper score, but the trail runner ends up getting to third because Bohm was it Bohm? Yeah, Bohm ends up getting to third because of it. And, you end up being able to produce another run. So sometimes you just take the good with the bad with this team. And when the bad is there with the base runners, it gets really frustrating. But the good steals some runs sometimes, and they did it last night.
So I got to talk about this under-the-radar MVP of the series so far. We know the starting pitching has been excellent. Schwarber came alive last night. The top 3, like Tyler said, 7 for 13. I don't know if you can ask for much more out of them. JT Realmuto, though, a guy that I've kind of, especially at the plate, just been like, it is what it is for better part of 2 years now with him. In this series, JT is 5 for 13 with 4 extra base hits. He's got 3 RBI, 3 runs scored. He's only struck out twice. He's got an OPS over 1,300. And I got to say, last night, all right, they get the 3 runs in the 4th, and that's dope. Cool. But as the game, 5th, 6th, 7th, all right, they haven't scored again. We're kind of seeing exactly what we've seen before. All right, you took advantage of 1 good inning, but unable to add on. This could always turn. Look at that Dodgers lineup. The game's never over.
Well, and not only could it have turned, but they also really did a poor job of extending the lead, right?
Yeah.
You think about the early portion of the middle portion of the game at that point. Runners on second and third, nobody out. Kyle Schwarber strikes out. Bryce Harper pops up. Brandon Marsh strikes out. Anthony Banda gets out of that inning. Later in the game, Schwarber gets backpicked with runners on first and second and 1 out. They end up not scoring there either. And you're looking at it and you go, those are turning points if you don't win this game. Thankfully, in the 8th, they busted open, and in part was because of JT's home run. But JT swung a really good bat in the second half of the season. Yep. It's carried over into the DS so far. He's been quite good, and I think he maybe is a little bit of an unsung hero because we have talked so much about the top 3 and their underperformance in the first 2 games and their excellent performance in Game 3.
JT's bomb to make it 4-1 to really get things started in that 8th inning where they tacked on ultimately 5 runs to get them to 8. I feel like that is, yes, the Schwarber, his couple of homers, obviously that first one just to like, okay, the game is even, and the guy who hasn't had a hit since like last month, it feels like, is on the board, and we know he hits them in bunches. But that JT bomb is kind of what put me at ease. Like, all right, it's not just going to be one of these, all right, we had 3 in the 4th, and we've just kind of failed to meet some opportunities as the game went on, and then suddenly, oh, they're back in it. Oh, we're going to extras. Great. We need Duran to keep this thing tied, and we don't have someone to close the game. Like, so many different things, so many different ways this could have gone, and I really think that JT home run is the catalyst to putting this thing away and being able to use freaking Taijuan Walker. And like not have to use any of your premier guys at the end of the game. I think that was huge as well. You get to turn to backs, you get to turn to Walker because he kind of got that little second rally started. And the insurance run also ensures like this thing, we're not going to, okay, man, sorry, Duran, you got to get up again.
Yeah,
like,
and I think too, like you look at it on both ends. Both of these teams last night, whether it was because the Phillies jumped out to a huge lead or because the Dodgers kind of recognized the situation, both are not only going to have very good starters on the mound tonight, they're also going to have their full complement of their guys, right? Because if you look at the Dodgers, they're going to go to Vesia, they're going to go to Sasaki, and they're going to go to Sheehan. They're going to try to eliminate using Trinan or anybody else in that particular spot. Banda may pitch again because he was very good. And the Phillies, meanwhile, as you brought up, right, didn't have to use Duran, didn't have to use Robertson for a second consecutive game. Kerkering's inning was fairly low pressure. I think he threw 10 pitches. He's probably available again today. Like, both of these teams are going to have a pretty full complement of their bullpens for this game today, which I think, could be a difference maker for either one of the teams that ends up stepping up and winning this game.
All right, we have to transition to talk a little birds today, but first, got to take our second break. Whether your favorite team wins or not, there's always another way to win in the BetParx online casino app. Listen, I have been telling you for weeks about all the casino classics they have, the blackjack, the roulette, craps, poker, roulette, all of that at the BetParx online casino app. They have the slots based on your favorite streaming shows, nostalgic movie favorites. But since tonight is a special night here in Philadelphia, we got to talk about the BetParx Sportsbook for just a second, because right now you can get that Philly 3-leg parlay. You can get the birds on the money line. You can get the Fightins on the money line. You can get the orange and black on the money line. You put them together at BetParx. Plus $635. $10 pays a nice, cool $73.50. If you think we are going to get that hat trick tonight, you think we're going to sweep the triple header, maybe head over to BetParx online casino and sportsbook. You know it's where I do all of my casino gaming, and tonight I will have something at the sportsbook as well. And right now, for new users at the casino, $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. All you got to do to download the casino and sportsbook, just go to betparx.com, download the app, and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. Must be 21 and in PA, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. BetParx. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What do you love to do? Do you love to run? Do you like to walk the dog? Do you like to take long walks on the beach as the summer comes to an end and the cooler weather comes in? Whatever it is, if joint or muscle pain is keeping you from doing the things that you enjoy, it's time to get the care that you deserve. And with Rothman Orthopedics, you'll find expert treatments for injuries and chronic conditions alike with personalized care focused that is just for you. It's specializing in you, helping you move better and sooner. So visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to schedule your appointment I'll schedule your appointment today and do it quickly because you don't want to let pain get in the way of the things that you love to do. Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility is their mission.
All right, let's get to some birds today because we have some Thursday night football, some primetime action, division rivals, the 4-1 Eagles at the 1-4 Giants. You look at what the Giants have done thus far. Jackson Dart took over a couple of weeks ago. He beat a pretty damn good defense in the Chargers for the Giants' first win of the season. But then last week against the New Orleans Saints, he got picked off twice, lost a fumble, and the Saints win 26-14. I don't know, maybe they've dramatically turned around since the last time I watched them, but they hadn't looked like an NFL team to that point. So Not exactly great. Not a great loss for the Giants, but the Giants are not a good team. They're allowing 25.5 points a game. Their scoring defense is 22nd. Scoring offense is 28th. This is a critical part of the Eagles' schedule. And we talked yesterday a little bit how, like, this is the mini bye. When you have the Thursday game, you don't have the full week off and then another week before game day, but you get the little rest running up to the weekend, and then you have a normal week next. This is a critical part of the Eagles' schedule. Yes, their short week against the Giants on this garbage MetLife turf. Then this little mini bye before they take on either the Wentz or J.J. McCarthy-led Vikings, depending on who's healthy, because now both are banged up. And then you have another week against the Giants before the Week 9 bye. There's just absolutely no reason you're not 7-1 heading into the bye. I really just don't see it, but it all starts tonight. It all starts tonight with making sure you take care of business, get ahead early, and then hope to get as many guys off of this freaking turf as you can. Already, Landon Dickerson and Grant Calcaterra have been ruled out. Dickerson not playing, I think, like, even if he's healthy enough to go, don't put him on that freaking turf. He's got a torn meniscus. He's been dealing with a back injury since last year. Like, let's just not push it with a guy against a team that if you can't beat the New York Giants without Landon Dickerson, what are we even doing? What's the point here? So I'm really looking forward to this. There's absolutely no reason they don't come away tonight with a big victory, and hoping to see a steady dose of A.J. Dillon and Jahan Dotson. That would be tremendous. Get in and get out. Take care of business. This is a quick trip against a bad team. Get off that turf, kick their ass, go home, get ready for the Vikings.
Yeah, I think the short week obviously plays into the health concern, right? The Thursday night is a big thing because guys just aren't ready to play on Thursday night. Quite frankly, I think Thursday night football is stupid. If it wasn't for money, it wouldn't happen.
Player safety.
But it does,
3 days off.
Except for when the money's involved. But it is what it is, and you're right. The added turf thing is a concern. Here's how I think this thing breaks down. You have to simplify your playbook when you play on Thursday night after playing Sunday. What do you do when you simplify the playbook? I think you tend to lean on the run and the quick stuff a little bit more. So with the fact that the Giants' front four is as good as it is, their pass defense has been very good in terms of completion percentage and yards allowed. I think you lean on the run game early, especially if you want to try to get some rhythm with your fill-in guard and with Tyler Steen trying to get going, and with how is Lane Johnson faring? Is he 100% himself? I think the best way to do that is to kind of shorten this game, do what you do well, which is run the football, do what you do well, which is have a defense that's not gassed at the end of the game, which they were against the Broncos because of those 4 straight drives of 3 and outs. And that's where I think you're able to beat a team that you're better than. And I think you're pretty sizably better than. Their front four is really, really good. Their secondary's played well. The statistically speaking, they've played well. But I think the way you do that is to chop this game up and make it a shorter game and just kind of show like, hey, listen, we're the better team. And because it's Thursday night, this is what we're showing.
All right, and with that, we get to our predictions for Thursday night football. Eagles at Giants. I've got the Birds winning 27-10. I don't know if this is a perfect performance, especially from the offense, but I think Fangio can mess with Jackson Dart, a rookie quarterback, enough to, create some short fields, get some 3 and outs, and the offense makes a few big plays in what is probably another mostly conservative game plan that they can get the Birds out of that mall parking lot that the Giants play in with a semi-convincing win. 27-10 Eagles. Tyler, what say you?
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles in this one as well. I think it's a closer game because of all the things that we just mentioned. I don't think it's going to be a particularly pretty game today on either side of the ball. Jackson Dart played well, as you brought up, against the Chargers, and then last week against the Saints, had to throw the ball 40 times to get to 200 yards. He turned it over 3 times. He looked human against the team that we all kind of expect is going to probably pick in the top 5-ish in next year's draft. They're not a very good football team. I think this is just one of those games, like if they played on Sunday and there was a little bit more time to heal up and rest, whether Dickerson plays or not, I could see them hammering the Giants. The line's 7.5, which tells me Vegas thinks they're going to hammer the Giants. I'm not quite there just yet, but I do think they win this game. I've got them winning 21-17 in a pretty low-scoring affair.
Yeah, I don't think the offense is awesome tonight because, quite frankly, it hasn't been. I just think this defense can control enough that really they're not on the field much, and the Eagles will make enough big plays to put this thing away. All right, that is all the time we have for you on Philadelphia today. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, you got to hit that follow button. Make sure you are tuning in tonight for the ultimate watch-along. There's going to be pre-games. There's going to be post-games. There's going to be watching along with the Eagles and the Phillies as they have their respective big games tonight. There will also be pre and post for the Flyers game, so tune in for that. Make sure you hit that like button. I see we're up to 32. Decent number for the afternoon live show. Appreciate you all. Make sure you're following me on Twitter at Philadelphia PHLY. And follow the podcast. Just search Philadelphia. That is it. I am Bill Matz. Thank you to Tyler Zulli. Till Monday, let's go Phils. Let's go Birds.
We all silly like the mayor.